Hello and welcome to the Color Bellringer video. Today we are going to talk about color, and what that means is a hue or a tone. We've all heard that word for our whole lives, but here are some examples of really excellent use of color in artwork. This first piece is by Claude Monet. It's called End of Summer. This is a really fascinating series that he did where he painted these same bales of hay at all different kinds of day, all different kinds of seasons, and the colors all change every single time. And it's really fascinating because nothing about the actual hay changed. It was just the lighting and the colors that were changing, which was a really fascinating series. Next, you can see this piece by Keith Haring. It's called Pop Shop. I love his use of solid swaths of color, and the color schemes that he creates are always really interesting and fun. Now, for our practice today, we are going to fill in the color wheel, and I would like to have you do this along with me. So if we could all collect the color canary yellow, and we are just going to go through, it doesn't have to be like super precise coloring, but I do recommend giving yourself a quick little border and then just filling in through that center. So we are gonna fill in all of our yellow spots together. So we've got the yellow at the top. We have yellow in this little part of the triangle in the middle here. And there we go. Now that's our first of our primary colors. That means these are the three main colors that make all of the other colors. Now let's switch into Crimson Lake. This is what we're gonna use for our red. We're gonna fill in the red in the middle triangle. And again, we're just giving ourselves a quick little border using heavy pressure all the way through. And we're just gonna fill that center here. All right, and we've also got the red in the wheel. So let's go ahead and add that as well. All right. Now we are going to come in with our last primary color, and for this one we are going to use Copenhagen blue. So let's start in our triangle in the middle, giving ourselves borders, and don't forget to press heavily so you can see the true color. We don't want to leave any little grainy spots, and we want this to be pretty nice quality coloring as well. This is something that I hope you'll keep and use in the future. And then we'll fill in blue in the wheel as well. So those are our three primary colors, and that's where all of the other colors come from. So let's see what colors we can mix by making our primary colors join together. Let's start off with yellow and red combining to make orange. Let's go ahead and fill that in. So these two colors combine together to make orange. Let's fill in orange on the wheel as well. All right, let's see what other colors we can get. Why don't we grab grass green, and we are going to fill that in for mixing blue and yellow. When you mix blue and yellow together, you get green. And let's fill that in on the wheel too. All right, now we have one more color that is called a secondary color, and that means that when we mix one of our primary colors with another primary color, we get these colors, and we've got one left. Let's go ahead and grab purple, also known as violet. Let's go ahead and fill that in our center. Let's also fill it in on the wheel. All right. Now you'll notice at this point we have one color left between all of the colors on the wheel. And the way it works is that we take the two colors on the wheel, mix them, and that's what color you get in between. So when we mix yellow and green, we get yellow-green. Now let's grab the pale green. It looks like kind of a yellowy green, and we're going to use that to fill in yellow-green. Now moving around, we can mix green and blue to make blue-green. So we're going to grab our aquamarine color here. All right, now we don't have an excellent color to represent the blue violet, which is what we get when we mix blue and violet together. So what we're going to do here is take our blue first, and we're going to do a light layer. So do this along with me, just a light layer, I guess a medium layer. And then we're going to come in with purple over the top of it and blend it together with heavy pressure. We're going to do that same thing to make red violet. So let's take our purple. We always start with our darker color. Let's add a medium layer of purple, and then we'll take our crimson lake red, and we are going to fill in over the top of that really heavily. Now let's take our crimson lake red and add a medium layer on the wheel. And we'll come in with orange and cover really heavily to make red orange. Now here's our last color for today. We are going to come in and add a nice light layer of orange. We're going to cover that up with a really heavy layer of yellow. And that is our color wheel. And filling it in this way, I think, is really helpful for students to fully start to understand the layout. For today's practice, we are going to be filling in the left-hand side with the color schemes. And before we do, I would like to just talk you through what we mean with these color schemes. Now, here is a color wheel. And when we are talking about analogous colors, that means those are colors that are next to each other. So for this example, we start with yellow-green, green, blue-violet, violet, all the way through. And that's all of these colors next to each other. So we can have the cool colors be analogous. We can have the warm colors, the ones you would see like in fire, be analogous. Or you can combine the warm and cool in two different color schemes. Now, let's go ahead and start with, or actually before we do, analogous is one, but we also have split complementary. Now, complementary color schemes, that's when you have one color that's across the wheel from the other color. So yellow is across from violet, red is across from green, blue is across from orange. Those are complementary colors. But what you do if you are doing a split complementary, we are going to take orange, and instead of choosing blue, which is right across, we are going to choose blue-green and blue-violet and orange. Now, we are going to go through and fill these in, and I would like to do it one color at a time. So let's begin with yellow. Everybody go ahead and grab your yellow colored pencil. We're going to fill in for the top split complementary. And let's scroll through. We've got a yellow at the end of the first analogous color scheme. Let's see, and we've got yellow for the final analogous color scheme. And that's it. Now let's switch to red. We are looking for just true red, so split complementary. The second one down on the side has red. Let's fill that in. We are going to fill the red for analogous number 1 for the warm color scheme. Let's see, we've got red for analogous number 3. And I think we're done with red. Now let's switch to Copenhagen blue. We're looking for all of our blues. We're going to start with that first split complementary. We're going to continue down for the next split complementary. For analogous number 2, we are going to come in and fill that. For analogous number 3, it starts off with blue. All right, now we're done with blue. So let's begin with our secondary colors. We did all of our primary colors. Those are the ones that we start with. Now these are the ones that you get if you mix a primary with another primary. So let's go in and look for all the oranges. We've got an orange for the split complementary. Let's see, we've got another for analogous number 1. And analogous number 4. All right, now let's switch to green. We are gonna use grass green for this. We've got one in this first split complementary. We've got one in this last split complementary. In analogous number 2. And analogous number 4. All right, now let's switch to purple or violet. We see that in this bottom split complementary on the left, the split complementary in the middle on the right, we've got it in analogous number 2. And analogous number 3. All right, so we did all of our secondary colors. Now let's begin with the, these are called tertiary colors, the ones that you get when you mix a primary color with a secondary color. Now let's go and look for all of the yellow greens. So we've got one with this split complementary. We've got the analogous number 2 starts with yellow-green. And we've got yellow-green in analogous number 4. All right, next up, let's do blue-green. We're gonna use aquamarine. We've got one in this first split complementary. And in analogous number 2. And analogous number 4. And that is the end of the colors that we've got a good colored pencil for. Although I would say we probably could use scarlet red for red orange. So let's use the scarlet red to fill in all of our red orange now. So we've got a split complementary red orange, another split complementary red orange, we've got another red orange in analogous number 3. All right, now that is the end of the colors that we've got in our colored pencil set. So let's switch to yellow orange. We're gonna start with our orange. We're gonna do a light layer first for all of these. So let's do our yellow orange with our light layer of orange. So we've got it in the bottom split complementary and analogous 1 and analogous 4. Looking for yellow orange here. And then we'll come through with our yellow and do a heavy pressure on top of that light layer of orange. We've just got 3 of those. All right, now let's switch into red violet. So let's use our purple, and we're gonna do a medium layer of purple. It's for red violet. So the right side split complementary, we've got the top and the bottom has red violet, and analogous number 1 has red violet, and analogous number 3 has red violet. Now we're gonna come in with crimson lake, and we're gonna do a really heavy layer on top of that purple. And the last one for analogous 3. All right, let's move into our blue violet. So we will start with our Copenhagen blue. We're gonna do a light to medium layer. And that's in analogous 3 and analogous 2 and our split complementary. This is our last one. So we're gonna cover that up with a heavy layer of our purple. All right, thank you guys for following along. Hello, and for today's practice, we are going to be working on filling in these basic color schemes. Now, according to our color wheel, we can see that when we have 3 evenly spaced colors, then they make a primary color scheme. So the first example is our most commonly seen with red, yellow, and blue, right? But we could also make an even triangle with green, purple, and orange. And you can see that on your front color wheel, so you can kind of tell what the tertiary or the primary color schemes could be. Now, we've got our primary color scheme, and let's talk these through and we'll fill them in after. Primary, then secondary, then we have our triadic color schemes, which means 3 colors that make a triangle. Then we've got our last split complementary, and then we've got our true complementary colors. And complementary colors are like blue across from orange, red across from green. Now let's go ahead and fill these all in at once. Let's start with yellow. We'll begin in the primary triadic number 1. let's hop down to our complementary number 3. And that's it. Now let's switch to Crimson Lake Red, and we're going to start with primary triadic 1. Then we have that in our final split complementary down here at the bottom. It's our first color. Then we've got it in complementary 1. All right, next we've got grass green for our green here. Let's go ahead and fill in complementary number 1 and the secondary for triadic number 2. All right, now let's switch to Copenhagen blue. We're going to fill in the last of the primary color scheme. And we'll fill in complementary number 2. Now let's switch into orange. We're going to fill in the first of secondary. Then we'll move into complementary number 2. Now we are going to move into violet or purple in our triadic, or sorry, the secondary triadic number 2. And in complementary number 3. Now let's do our tertiary colors. So let's start with yellow green. We're going to come in with our pale green here. And we're going to add that for complementary number 5 as well. Now let's switch to blue-green, which is our aquamarine. We're going to fill that in for split complementary at the bottom. And we also have our complementary number 4 with blue-green. All right, let's use our scarlet red for the red-orange for triad number 3. And red-orange is in complementary number 4. All right, now we're gonna switch to blue. We missed one blue-green, sorry. So let's grab that aquamarine, and we're gonna fill that in for triad number 4 as well. All right, let's switch to yellow-orange. We're gonna grab orange, and in triad 4, we're gonna add a light layer, and then in complementary 6, we'll add a light layer. And we come in with canary yellow on the top and color really heavy on top of those layers. All right, now let's grab our purple, and we are going to do a layer for triad number 4 with red, violet. We're gonna add purple first, and again for complementary number 5. And then we're gonna come in with Crimson Lake on top and do a really heavy layer. And again for complementary number 5. All right, Now, oops, we did miss one yellow green in this split complementary, so let's grab our pale green and fill that in. And then we've got one last color. Let's grab our Copenhagen blue. And we're gonna fill in our lighter layer for blue violet. And then we're gonna come in with our purple on top of that layer of blue and color really heavily. And that was our final step for the color section. And this one takes a little bit more work, but it'll be so handy to have in your little Elements of Art book forever. So I'm excited for you guys to have this. Don't forget to fold it in half and to write your name on the front so that you don't lose all of this hard work that you've done. Thank you so much for watching.